Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are continuing my series of Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2 episode reviews by taking a look at episode 15 of Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2, entitled United We Fall. As per usual, we will start today's review talking about the positive aspects of this episode, then we will dive on into some of the more negative parts until finally, towards the very end of today's video, I will give the episode in question a score out of 10 according to my own opinion. Also, this review will contain spoilers for the episode at hand. Keep that in mind, spoilers are ahead. So in terms of this episode, right away, I feel like things are definitely very mixed this time. For some positives though, first of all, I love the fallout from the last episode with all of the Jay versus Nia stuff. Especially with Nia, we feel her emotions very prominently in the early parts of this episode, and that carries through to the other ninja as well when they show up and demand that Lord Ras return Jay. Unfortunately, Jay has already been sent away, and obviously this entire thing was just a trick from Lord Ras to try to get the ninja to leave the tournament, and I love having the ninja kind of argue back and forth here regarding what the best method of approach is. Do we track down Jay? Do we stay in the tournament? I loved seeing that fallout again from the previous episode. And speaking of the tournament, we also have some tournament matches here. We have a couple of them to talk about. First of all, we have Sora versus Kizzy, the Master of Balance. She is a new elemental master with a new elemental power. Some might find balance to be a questionable power, but to me, it's kind of in line with other powers that we've seen prior. But I like this match between Sora and Kizzy. There's a lot of good thinking on the part of Sora. Again, Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2 continues to build up Sora's character, make her her own character, showcase her strength and her smarts. I love this episode for Sora. I thought she was handled extremely well. And the other match we have here is Wildfire versus Cinder, which wasn't the most exciting match ever, but I still found it to be a good callback to their fight from Season 2 Part 1, where Wildfire was gravely injured. Now, in this battle, she is not injured that much, but she does lose, unfortunately. Kind of wish Wildfire did more, or that she actually won this match, but it is what it is. The highlight of this episode for me, though, is all of the stuff involving Eren and Lord Ras, especially their conversation towards the very end of this episode, because I love how Lord Ras is written here. You can't tell if he's actually telling the truth or what exactly his goals are in this conversation. Basically, he reveals to Eren that Sora lied to him. We know that to be the case because we saw that happen at the end of Season 2 Part 1, but then he says that Master Wu caused the merge. That's kind of like the big thing that ends this episode. Now, again, we have no idea what he means by that or whether or not he is even telling the truth. We're not exactly sure what Lord Ras's goals in this conversation are. Is he trying to manipulate Eren? Is he trying to convince Eren to join him? Perhaps both? It's hard to say. Like I said, that was definitely the highlight of this episode for me. We also have a small flashback at the beginning of this episode with the merge. Master Wu says only unity can save them. What did he mean by that? Who knows, but I just thought this flashback was cool. I like seeing flashbacks like this. In terms of the bad stuff about this episode, yeah, this episode has some things that I don't really care for. For starters, the characterization involving Cinder. He doesn't really feel like the same character anymore that he was in Season 2 Part 1. He's not all that intimidating anymore. He comes across more as just a stereotypical bully character instead of a full-on villain that he was in Season 2 Part 1. Now, don't get me wrong, in Season 2 Part 1, Cinder was a little bit goofy from time to time, but he still had that villainous energy about him. But in Season 2 Part 2, it feels like a completely different character. For example, when he pretends that Wildfire hit him following their match and the ninja get in trouble for it, that doesn't really seem like something that Season 2 Part 1 Cinder would do. I have no idea who this character is or what he did with Cinder, but this is not Cinder anymore. It's someone else entirely. And following the interactions between Cinder and the ninja are forced to compete in this very, very stupid race against a pace dragon to win their way back in the tournament or something. Now, this entire sequence of events takes up a pretty big chunk of this episode, and this is a very blatant advertisement for the new set, the Ninja Combo vehicle, which is not a good set, by the way, looks horrible. And to add insult to injury, we have this entire sequence here taking up time dedicated to advertising this set. It just doesn't feel like it's necessary. It doesn't really feel like it's needed. This time could have been better spent answering questions that were proposed in previous episodes or even future episodes. This scene only exists to promote the set. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that Ninjago at the end of the day is a toy commercial, let's be real, but Ninjago has always had a way of doing things where the sets incorporate themselves naturally into the show. This time it just felt like, how exactly do we advertise this set in the tournament? I don't know, maybe just make up something where the ninja need to do a race for some reason. Does it make sense for the tournament? I think there was a way to do that, but they chose not to. I've heard people complain about this since these episodes were leaked a few months ago, and I still agree, following my rewatch, that this episode has one of the weakest moments in the entirety of Season 2 Part 2. It weighs down the episode quite a bit. So in terms of a score, I'm going to go ahead and give this episode a 6 out of 10, according to my own opinion. I do think there are still more positive things going on here, opposed to negative things, but the negative aspects of this episode really weigh the entire thing down for me. And with that being said, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave all of your thoughts down below regarding what you thought about this episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.